Hello, everyone. Welcome to the newest podcast about kayak bass fishing in the nation. If you're here to talk kayaks and kayak fishing, you're in the right spot. Your host, John Suits, brings you into the exciting world of Greenfish Nation and all it has to offer. We will have special guests from product manufacturers as well as the end users from the ground level angler up to the big boy pros. The show starts right now, so get your paddles ready and let's get started.
Good evening, everybody. I'm your host, John of Greenfish Nation. I want to welcome you to Beyond the Paddle. Tonight, we have a very special guest, Ryan Murphy of Murphy's Custom Baits. I have been waiting all week, anticipating this podcast. I hope you guys will enjoy this. We're going to not only talk about kayak fishing, we're going to talk about all kinds of baits that Ryan custom makes, custom paints. We're also going to talk a little bit about our California trail as Ryan is in California. I want to remind you, if you're a Facebook user, please allow StreamYard your permission for your photograph and your username on Facebook. If you would do that, it would really help us out, because Ryan has volunteered to give away a glide bait for you guys that are participating tonight. Be sure you drop us a comment. If you haven't granted Facebook that permission, just go ahead and drop your name in the comment, because your name is how we're going to give away this glide bait here in a little while. Ryan has told me it may be more than a glide bait. It may be the mother lode. So you guys want to be sure you stay tuned to that. Also, I want to remind you about Greenfish Nation Kayak Tournament Series and Trails. We have several state trails. I know a lot of you guys tonight watching are from California, so we're going to talk specific about your trail in California. We also offer regional monthly challenges, but without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring Ryan on stage, and we're going to get to know Ryan. For all you guys that don't know Ryan personally, Ryan, welcome to the stage.
Hey, what's going on?
Appreciate you being with us tonight. I've been anticipating this all week long.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me.
So tell us a little bit about Ryan Murphy.
Yeah, for you that don't know me, my name is Ryan Murphy. I live in Roseville, California. I'm a contractor, father. I'm originally from a little town called Cool, California, which is near Auburn. And I was fortunate enough to, my backyard was the outdoors. We had ponds for bass fishing right in our backyard, 300 yards. We could go hunting. I was just immersed in the outdoors right from the beginning and just always grew up around hunting and fishing and with my family. And I'm just so fortunate to just continue this.
That's awesome. That's kind of the way I grew up. I live in the country here in Texas. My family has always owned a lot of land, ran cattle and all that. And, with cattle, you have to have water. Mm-hmm. And my family was always into hunting and fishing. And so all those, what we call stock ponds, were always stocked with bass, catfish, and crappie. So I grew up with a rod and reel in my hand. The first time I remember being on a bass boat, I was about 5 years old, and I've been on a bass boat or a kayak ever since.
Yeah. I always fished and, never thought I'd really do the tournament thing. And then, some years ago, I finally had a buddy that was like, hey, you should try this tournament thing. You're pretty good at bass fishing. And I said, well, I'm not really, but, then I went out and did it, and that was kind of the start. And once I did, it's never stopped. So I did the boat thing for a while, and then had a guy that we were in a series with. A lot of guys know here, Bam. He's like, hey, you got a kayak and you go out and practice in this. Why don't you go and do these kayak tournaments? And I was like, well, I don't know if that's for me. These guys have nice rigs. And I went and out to a Folsom tournament with Yakabass to start with, and ever since then I've been absolutely hooked. So it's there's so many opportunities here for kayak fishing. It's unbelievable, and James Snyder with Yakabas just runs an amazing club, and he's such a great person and a great friend, and I just can't see myself doing anything else.
Yeah, I completely understand. My experience with kayak fishing and kayak people is just generally a pretty good group of guys and gals. Can't ask for better people.
No.
I like it so much that it's all I want to do. I got a bass boat sitting right out there that hasn't been in the water since. I'd just rather get out on the kayak and do my own thing. Got lots of California folks here in the house. I see Greg Hare, and then Vern Richard. Vern Richard, I'm sorry. And then lots of Facebook users that I'm not sure their names, but California in the house there. But well, how did you get in the bait making business?
Yeah, a funny story about that. My dad, I grew up, and he always on the side did custom painting like Harleys and helmets and all those kind of things, and did just some amazing work. And then, of course, getting more into the fishing thing, COVID hit, and I was like, on all these things, Swim Bait Universe and all that, and I was seeing guys doing painting, and so one day I was like, "Hey, Dad, what if I get some of these blanks and we just, we try to paint some of them?" And that's really where it all started. He did a few, and I started posting them online, and we never really thought that like it was going to get as big as what it is now.
Yeah, it just
Uh,
kind of took off on you, huh?
yeah, I mean, I started giving a few baits to some guys and stuff like that, and they're like, "Man, this is really cool. Who's doing this?" And I'm like, "Well, it's my dad, and he's kind of teaching me how to do some of this stuff." And I mean, it started from there, and now we've sold thousands of baits all over the country, Canada, all the way to New York. I mean, the community is so tight and so good to people in this in this industry that, I mean, there's just so much support. We never thought it was going to be what it is today, and even at that, it's all just been Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. So we really haven't even gone big with it yet. And it's just, you constantly get guys that hit you up that are just like, "Hey, can you do this? Can you do that?" And it's just like, yeah, anything you want to do, it's possible. We're trying to make your dream bait come true, basically.
Right, right. I know I was talking with a gentleman last night. I don't know if you caught the podcast last night, but LT of LT's Jigs, and
I did.
kind of the same story with him. He said, I just, I felt like I wanted to make jigs, and hey, it just kind of went from there.
Yeah, it's I mean, there's a lot of bait makers out there, and there's just some that really do it good, and if they're really passionate about it and care about the community and their customers, I mean, sky's the limit with it. And it's just crazy. I mean, yeah, I'm sure you'll show some of the stuff we do, but we do the simplest stuff to just matching something, to as much as realism, to some crazy people. They're like, they're like, "I want this to look like a snake. I want it to look like an alligator." And it's like, okay, if that's what you want, let's do it.
Hey, there you
Yeah.
go. That's right. Well,
Yeah.
I've got some of your. First of all, I'm gonna overlay your logo over the top of us, just so the guys that are not familiar with you, they know what to look for. So there's his logo, Murphy's Custom Baits. Pretty sick looking logo there, if I say so myself. So
Thank you.
what's the story with the 4-leaf clover?
Irish. My family came over from Ireland during
Irish.
yeah, they came over during the potato famine. Ended up here in the United States, and uh, yeah, my grandparents, they actually worked for the government when Yosemite was coming to national parks. So a lot of family history. I can go in way too much in depth with that, but yeah, my family just such support, and that's what the Lucky is about. And actually, my son was
Yeah.
born on St. Patrick's Day, so that's pretty cool for me.
Yeah. A lot of people like that logo. Got sick logo. That's awesome looking. Here's somebody says that I'll be looking up your baits, Greg Hare.
I appreciate it, Greg.
Yeah. So I tell you what, I've got a few of your baits loaded on here.
Yeah, you can show some of that, and then I can show the guys and gals some of the stuff that I have here on the table to show them, and just give them an idea of some of the stuff we do. But just to let you know, it's not like we do like one paint job. It's whatever you can come up with. That's what we want to do. We're not into copying anyone else. We like to do our own thing and have that artistic view to it. So don't be afraid to show anything that you want done, because we're going to try our best to make it possible.
Well, that's where the word custom comes in, right?
Yep.
So
yep.
What I'm going to do is I'm just going to click through these. This looks like a trout glide. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a GAN craft. That's probably about a 9-inch bait. And if you can see in the picture there, someone just sent a photo of the trout, and that's what the measuring tape was. And basically, we just took that actual photo and just tried to get as real as we possibly could with that bait.
Well, it looks like you've done a pretty good job.
Yeah, I think it's it's about as close as you can get.
Yeah, looks like a trout to me.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just keep kind of scrolling through.
Yeah, that's a spawning kokanee. If you've ever seen one. Yep.
Yep. Well, it looks pretty. Is that the same glide, just a different paint color scheme?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay. All right. And what you got here?
Yeah, that's
a wake bait.
Yeah, that's it's a wake bait. It's called a psycho trout. Lancier makes that bait, and that's actually a Thailand snakehead. And so someone sent a picture of that, and I thought it was really, really cool, and we just that's what we came up with.
Yeah, that's the one you sent me the video of earlier today. Yeah.
No. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, the one that I'm actually did is a guy. This is a customer.
Okay.
This is a customer that just liked that paint job, and we don't like to make everything exactly the same. It's just we like someone to have a custom bait, for them. So someone sent this toxic bait, and so we kind of did a little bit different on there. Hopefully you guys can all see that, but it's similar to the paint job, but it's definitely different. So this is one that's about to go out to a customer.
Okay. Well, I think I may have to have one of those before it's over with.
Yeah, I mean, I that's the hard thing about having all this stuff is I'm always like, I want this too. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, we'll look at some more of them. Yeah, there's lots of goodies here, I'll tell you.
Yep, brown trout.
Brown trout. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say that's a different glide there.
Yep, it's a mega bass ice slide.
Yeah. Yeah, I like throwing glide baits. I don't throw them as often as I would like to, but I do like throwing a good glide bait, like getting on a good glide bait bite. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, I mean, outside of tournaments, and even sometimes in tournaments, you just can't be afraid to throw it sometimes. Even if a guy, they're hitting a point and they're going to throw something else, throw 10 casts, you're going to be there with a glide, and you never know what's going to happen.
Right. And a lot of times I'll use a glide bait kind of as I'll throw an 8 or a 10-inch glide, and I mean, I might get 4 or 5 followers, and I'll go right back in there with, a smaller swim bait, or, a Cinco, a weightless Texas rig Cinco, and I will capitalize on those fish one at a time.
Yeah, it's a great search bait, and sometimes if you need to see what's there, I mean, a lot of times they'll follow it. So if they're following it, they're there. They just might not commit to it. So
right, and that's what I say. I follow up, or I'll throw a swim jig in there or something. But you can usually capitalize on those fish if you get, a few followers. Anyway, that's a good way to kind of search, and then you go back and destroy with something else. But so Facebook user here says, how long does it take to paint a glide bait? How many steps to doing custom paint jobs are there?
Um, it really depends on what the material the bait is made out of. I mean, some are resin, some are wood, so the preparation time is usually the longest in it. Because some baits you have to seal correctly before you paint it, because if not, the paint will just peel off of it. So that's the difference of someone just picking up and starting painting. You really need to do the research to find out what chemical, how they react when you put paint on baits, because someone might send you a $200-300 swim bait, and if the painter doesn't put it on right, it's just going to peel off. They're also, the paint job itself, is fairly sometimes somewhat quick, but not always, depending on how in depth the design will be. And then the clearing process, if we're using KBS, it's usually a couple days. But if I'm using like a resin, then it can be, sometimes 7 to 14 days for cure time. So there's a lot more involved
Yeah.
in it. You're not doing this for, I mean, there are some that are really doing this, for the money and making a lot, but I mean, we're doing it so much because we just like to be involved in it. We probably give back more than we actually sell right now, honestly, just because we're just so thankful for the community supporting us.
Yeah. So Greg is asking you, what size glide baits do you make?
I don't personally make the glide baits. So if you were to get a bait done by me, I can either find a bait for you, whether it be a blank or hunt down a bait for you, or you send me a bait that you want painted or repainted, and that's how it's done.
I see. Also Vern is wanting, you've been fishing.
How long I've been fishing?
Mm-hmm.
I've been fishing since I probably could have a fishing pole in my hand. I grew up around fishing. With us having a home in Yosemite, and then living in Cool, I had access to it, and I was the type of kid. My dad always tells me I wasn't watching TV and playing video games. I was organizing my tackle box. So I've been fishing uh, as long as I can remember.
I see. Yeah, I was the kid that I kept my rod and reel. Like I said, we live out in the country, so you didn't have to worry about people stealing your stuff. But I'd hit the pond before school, drop my school bag off at the mailbox, pick up my rod and reel when I got off the bus, and hit the
Mhm.
pond. And I just knew that I had to be home by dark. We
Yeah,
knew every farmer around here, so I might be fishing 100 yards from the house, or I might be 2 miles. But just as long as I was home by dark, I was in good shape.
yeah, I remember that too, seeing the lights from my parents' cars or whatever, because I'd be down at the little local pond, and I'd fish all the way until I wasn't supposed to, and all of a sudden I'd hear my name, Ryan, Ryan, so I've always been diehard about it. I still feel like a little kid every time I get to go out, and that's what's so great about doing all this stuff. We're so lucky here in America to have what we have.
Yeah. So Charlie King says he wants to welcome you to the RB Bass team, buddy.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, I'm gonna slide down here, and we're gonna recognize those guys. A big thank you tonight to RB Bass Outdoors and their sponsors for bringing you the show tonight. We really appreciate that. Ryan was telling me about you guys, and I'm really excited about what you guys are doing for the not only the fishing but the outdoors community as a whole, hunting and fishing. So I want to
Absolutely.
thank RB Bass for everything that they do outdoors. Like I said, not only fishing, but you said hunting as well. I guess camping and all of that stuff as well.
Yeah, cooking. Yeah, RB Bass is just a tight knit group of guys that are sharing fishing and lake reports, hunting reports, cooking recipes throughout the community. It's just a huge support program for guys like us, and they just give us so much opportunity to kind of thrive in this world of fishing and hunting. And I just really am so thankful for RV Bass. So thank you for all your support, guys.
Yeah. So Facebook user asked, what's the biggest fish that you've caught? Talking to me. So the biggest fish I've ever caught weighed 1179, and I caught that on a Fire Tiger gold willow leaf spinnerbait on a creek bend in Lake Fork. Funny thing is I took that fish about 7 miles and weighed it at a marina and released it at a marina. Caught that fish out of a flat bottom boat. The very next day, I went to that same creek, and in that same bend, I caught an 1178 on that same bait. So those are
Wow.
my two biggest fish ever. I did go out to OHIV. I don't know if you guys are familiar with OHIV, but it's kind of like Disneyland for bass fishermen right now here in Texas. I have a friend that's a guide there, Brandon Burks, that's literally been putting a 10-pounder in the boat every day for several months out of that lake. Of course, he's scoping, but um, I went out there just on my own in my own rig. One day caught a 10-9, caught a 9-2, an 8-7, a 7-14, and like I didn't catch anything under 6 pounds that day. It was this hot summer day, throwing a big old monster, man's, the old 13-inch man's great worm with a little flap tail on it. And I mean, they were just tearing it up. So,
And you're pretty close to Lake Fork, aren't you, John?
yes, sir. The closest ramp to my house is about 6 miles. I live
Wow.
Lake Fork is to the east of me, but Texas' best kept secret is 4 miles from my house. It's a 28, no, see, it's 27,888,000 acre impoundment called Lake Tawakoni. It generally takes a 20-pound bag to win a 4-hour derby there on a Thursday night. There are some quality fish there.
Yeah, I know guys that have gone out there from here, and they just said it's absolutely amazing. So it's a trip I'd definitely like to make one day.
Yeah, you'll have to come and go. Greg Hare says, I don't think I've seen the schedule for California, but what lakes are set for us in California?
That
Greg, if you go, what's that?
I think that gives. I think that's what a lot of guys are going to be asking, John. Is
Okay.
let's take a second to you kind of said a little bit about you, say who you are,
Sure.
and kind of introduce your series to us, because a lot of these people don't really know who you are and what you're about, and so that's a lot what we've been talking about. And I'll just let you take the stage on that.
Okay. So my name is John Suits. I've been fishing for about 47 years, from the bank, from a boat, from a kayak. I'll just tell you the story of Greenfish Nation. So, I am a paramedic by trade currently. I have been a building contractor, and I have been a EOD dog training technician. I trained bomb dogs for the federal government for about 12 years. It came time for me to start going to Iraq and Afghanistan, and I had recently married, um, and I had 2 little kids at home, and my wife didn't really want me doing that. So I decided that the good Lord was leading me to do something else. So I went to paramedic school, became a paramedic. One day, riding down the road in the ambulance, a really good buddy of mine that I fished with, we come up with the name Greenfish Nation. Didn't know where it was going to go, but that turned into just kind of a fishing channel on YouTube. It's called Bass Fishing with Greenfish Nation. And then that kind of evolved into, I wanted to start doing something that I could give back to the community of bass fishermen. I didn't know whether that was going to be, if I was going to be making baits, custom rods, pouring baits. I've always fished tournaments. As far as bass boats go, I've done that for years and years. But I wanted to do something that I could give back to the community. So literally one day setting out on my porch, I decided I wanted to start a little fun series for kayak fishermen, because I had heard of some series that were at different ends of the spectrum, one on the side of the nation, one on the other, that was having trouble paying their anglers and such. So I thought, I don't really need the money. I just want to do this for fun. And I think I can put something together. So I literally started a Facebook group. And at that time, it was called Lake Country Kayak Tournaments. I just wanted to basically, it was kind of a social experiment to see if I could put together 4 kayak tournaments. And what they were a week long. And you could choose any 2 days that you wanted to fish out of those 7, because I wanted to be fair to the guy that works a week, but I also wanted to be fair to the guy that works on the weekend, so that they could choose 2 days and they could put up their 5. And we started out through Fishing Chaos. Had a great time working with them. Those guys were great to work with us. We put together 4 tournaments. We done one August, September, October, and November. But very quickly, my phone started ringing saying, "Hey, can we do another tournament this month?" I was like, "Well, what do you guys think about doing every inch counts?" So we done EIC tournament. So no minimum, no matter if it was a 6-inch fish or a 26-inch fish, that counted toward your bag limit. We started out with a $10 entry fee. So everybody put in their $10. I wanted to do something that would get people into kayak fishing, into the tournaments. And that quickly evolved into meeting some very good people throughout the nation, some from the East Coast, some from Texas, and everywhere in between, Utah, California, Oklahoma, just all over. And they were wanting to do some, little more in depth, little higher entry fee type stuff. So I started in about October thinking about this and kind of putting my mind to it and seeing what it was going to take to get all this done. And so we put together several state trails. I've got those listed. Let's see, right here. Those are our state trails that we currently have going right now. They're once a month trails. You fish one Saturday a month. Basically, I think we've had a couple that were on Sunday, but then we also have a regional monthly challenge series. We have 5 regions throughout the United States. All of this information can be found on Facebook under Greenfish Nation Kayak Tournament Series and Trails. We got about 720 members right now. We went up to a $50 entry fee, whether you're fishing a state tournament or you're fishing a regional qualifier. There is $1 a year membership fee if you want your points to count toward our national championship that will be held on Caddo Lake on October 25th, 26th, and 27th.
You said $25 membership, right?
There's a $25 a year membership fee. Yep.
Okay.
So, and then each tournament's $50 to enter. Now, what I do out of that $50 is I take the Tourney X fee out, and there's a Stripes banking fee because I don't do PayPal. I pay out through Stripes, and I do all my payments through Cash App. Whether I'm sending you money or you're sending me money, Tourney X goes through Stripes and it just deposits in my account. Cut those fees out, and that leaves about $41 out of $50. So every angler basically once they pay their $50, um, there's a $40, basically it's $40 return on your fishing. Now what we do out of our state trails and our regional challenges is the number of anglers that we have times whatever's left after the fees, and then we take 20% of that and we put that into a bank account for the state, for the national final. So each state trail, each regional monthly will be less 20%, but it will go to the national, and that all goes back to the angler at the end of the year.
And
so
I
like
know
I was telling you yesterday, my goal in this business is for my bank account to register zero at the end of the year.
Okay, a couple more questions for you on that, John. So you also there's a I know there's a $10 big fish pot,
Right, and
and
100% of that big fish pot goes back to the angler. We don't keep anything out of that.
and as far as California, what made you come to What got you interested in coming to California?
I had a couple of guys that fished on the other stuff with me back when we were doing the kind of I guess you'd call them the fun tournaments. And they were interested in, was I going to have a trail in California? And I thought about it, and I thought, well, I don't see why not. It's a free country. I guess I got as much right to fish there or have guys fish there with me as anybody. So I started that process, but man, I'm telling you what, out of all 48 states in the United States here, the lower 48, I have worked harder to get a trail in California than I have in all the others combined.
Yeah,
California has great fisheries and great fishermen. I wanted to be able to put a trail together there, and it has definitely been a challenge. I've worked with the Department of Fish and Game off and on for a couple months just to get permission to fish there. I had to have a state permit from the Department of Fish and Game, and then I've had to contact the different lakes and get permits from some of them. Some of them, I explained to them what we're doing, catch, photo, release, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we don't have a problem with that." I'm like, "Send me that in an email, please." And then some of them I'll have to get permits, like day use permits for.
right.
But it's definitely been a challenge, and I like a good challenge, but I don't have a whole lot of hair to pull out, but I just about pulled it out before I got it said and done with.
Right. And I think that also, as hopefully you grow in California. Are you interested in meeting some of the other tournament directors so that, if things grow, you guys aren't stepping on each other's toes as far as dates and stuff?
Oh yes, absolutely. And when let me say this, I didn't start this to step on anybody's toes to make any enemies. I started this to expand my friendship in the kayak world. And I basically talked with each guy that's my state representative, and I said, "Hey, look, you need to look at the other trails that are in your state, and you need to try to work with those guys. If we can double up with them, or if even if our guys need to pay a fee to fish another club or whatever, fish their tournament and our tournament at the same time. Let's do whatever we can do to make it work." And I haven't really had a whole lot of issues with any of that. Most of them are pretty easy to get along with.
Yeah. And I hope that anyone in here listening right now, that if they have any questions for John about any more on his trail or any questions, just please put it in the comments so you can answer it, because myself, I'm going to be fishing with John this year, and um, I'm really happy to be. Seem like a great guy, John, and it looks like this is going to be a lot of fun. So if anyone has any questions or concerns, I ask you to put in the comments, or or reach out to John, because it's fun. I think this is a great opportunity, guys, that if you're watching from afar and you're a new angler and you're considering about diving into kayak fishing but afraid to fish these bigger trails, especially here in California, you're seeing all these videos with Greg Blanchard and all that. I mean, let this be a stepping stone for you to go out there and try something and get interested and just see how fun this actually is. Because I mean, the main reason I do it is it's just such a great group of people. The whole winning aspect and all that is cool, and that's why some of us do this. But this is really just really something that's really fun to do. And if you're already fishing or kayak fishing, or you're in a boat and you're thinking about kayak fishing, I mean, this is more than just meet up and go. We all camp together. We all hang out with each other. We talk to each other daily. So this community, what it's all about. And if you're watching from the sidelines, you're missing out, because I thought, I never thought that, once getting into the kayak community, especially, how great this could be until I did. And it's amazing. All you guys are amazing. Everyone that's watching, and everyone is just so kind and willing to give the shirts off their back to help one another out. And that's what this is all about.
Yeah, that's one of the main things that I love about kayak fishing, because it feels like you never meet a stranger. Some of those guys are hard to get the opportunity to meet, but once you meet them, it's like you're friends for life. You know what I mean? It's just in talking to you, the little bit that we've talked over the past week or so, I feel like we've got a lot in common, and
oh yeah,
and we'll have a long friendship. I just feel that way. Kayak people are just good people. So we've got a few comments here. Before I go to the comments, my name and number scrolling across the bottom. My phone's never off. It's never on vibrate, 24/7. If you have any questions or anything I can answer, you can always give me a call. I am a paramedic. I work on an ambulance. So if I don't answer, leave me a message, shoot me a text. I will get back with you as soon as I get rid of that patient. So,
and you can reach out to me as well too if you can't get a hold of John, because it seems like I might be able to answer some of the questions for you also. So if that's all right with you, John, they could contact me.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll get them in contact with you.
Absolutely. So as anglers need to come together and help each other, I'm just kind of reading over some of these.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can choose
comments here. I'll just click them up. We'll be prepared as he continues to these children. Yes, I'm probably, I know about the jamboree. I'm not sure, Vern, if I will personally be able to make it there, but I will have a representative there at the jamboree. I am very aware of that. I missed it last year. But man, when I started this, I had no idea. I'm kind of a trial by fire kind of guy. And I'm learning. I learned very quickly. But I definitely, if I can't make it in person to the jamboree, I will have someone there for that jamboree. So let's just kind of look through these comments as need to come together. Absolutely, Greg. I agree with that. We all need to help each other out. Can y'all do like a pond tournament? Yeah, I've thought about that for some people. I'm just all about interested in getting people to fish,
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Bringing in the next generation so that they can enjoy this. I mean, I think for the answer to that question is, pond tournaments, that's something a small thing could do, where you could do a monthly like that, but it's hard for a group of guys on kayaks or boats to spread out evenly on a small body of water. So you kind of have to pick and choose a little bit of what you do, because you don't want to be casting your lines at each other.
Right. So as far as, let me just kind of tell you a little bit more about Greenfish Nation. Like I said, we have the state trails, we have the regionals, and we have what's called 100-inch club. So whether you're fishing a state trail or monthly regional, your top 5 fish, If they add up to 100 inches, we will have a specialty tournament at the National. It's called Centurion of the Year. In other words, to qualify for this Centurion of the Year tournament, you'll have to put up 100 inches in a single tournament sometime in 2024. Right now, I've got 2 people that have done it. Actually, one of them repeated this month. And I've had 4 or 5 put up 96, 97, 98 inches. So they've gotten close.
So I have a question
okay.
for you because of California. The hard thing, where you here in California, a question that's going to be asked because you're going to have a regional, but that's closer to where you're at. Now, as California grows, right, and if more people get interested in it, most guys, it's not affordable for them to go all the way out there for that. So if you got a group of guys that are more involved, is it something you would consider for the future of doing something closer here for them? Is that a possibility?
So,
Like a TOC or something like that?
yeah. So what my plan is we have 5 regions. Each year, the regional tournament will move to the left or to the west to the next region. So right now, the regional, because this is our inaugural year, I wanted it to be in Texas. So we're doing it at Caddo Lake, which is on the Texas-Louisiana border. So next year it will be somewhere in the western region. Now California, Texas, and Florida are in what we call our Big 3 region.
Right.
Those 3 states produce more big bass, so I really felt it unfair to put California in a region with New Mexico or Utah. So I wanted it to be a competitive region. So I put Texas, California, and Florida together. And then the western region, is the more western states. And then we got the central region, the northeast, and the southeast. But each year it will rotate. So we'll do the western region, then we'll go back and we'll do like the northeast, the southeast, and then we'll be back to the Big 3. So we'll probably go to California, and then we'll rotate through again, and then it'll go to Florida. So it takes 6 years to get to your state, Texas, Florida, or California.
That makes sense.
Does that make sense? I'm trying to, because I know I got guys in South Carolina that they'll come to Texas and fish, but they're not driving to California to fish.
Yeah,
and
I
I'm
think
going to have
that.
guys in California that are not going to drive to South Carolina and fish.
Right.
So,
yep.
But I'm always open. I'm very open minded. If we're, of course, each state will have a state championship. It'll be a 2-day tournament. California's, I believe, is the week before the national. I don't have the dates in front of me right now, but I can find that out. All of that stuff is posted on Greenfish Nation Kayak Tournaments, Trails, Series, and Challenges. And within that Facebook group, there are subgroups. There's a California trail group. There's a Texas trail group. There's Alabama, even regional groups. You have your Big 3 regional group, your central regional, all of that. Everything's broken down into groups. So if you do join that group and you do fish with us, be sure you go and check out where you need to be as far as your group.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So I've tried to put something out there for everybody. Of course, you're not ever going to cover everything for everyone. It's just not possible. Yes, Vern asked, is that a 5 fish limit? Yes. So you're going to have an average of 20 inches per fish. Will be your average on that 100-inch club. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. But so at the national, we'll have the qualifiers from each state trail, each region, and then we'll have angler of the year. In order for you to compete in the angler of the year uh, tournament, which we're going to have an angler of the year. We're going to have the national champion. We're going to have the 100-inch club, and I'm putting together a team tournament that's going to be like a specialty type event. It's going to be like 4 months later on in the summer, and we'll have those guys teams fish as well. There's going to be a lot of things going on. You'll be fishing multiple tournaments at the national. But well, all of the anglers from the state trails and the regionals, the anglers of the year from those different venues will come together and they will fish for a national angler of the year.
And it's all posted on your website or what
Yes,
have
sir.
you of how to qualify for that? Yeah.
Yes, sir. It's on www.greenfishnation.com. Or you can look it up, like I said, on the Facebook group. That's where a lot of the information is. But if you have any questions about anything, you can't seem to find it, like I said, my phone is never off, and I am more than happy to talk fishing, kayak fishing, tournaments, address your questions, concerns. I'm an open book.
Awesome. So I guess I have some more also some more couple baits to show, and I don't know, how do you want to do this how are we going to do this giveaway?
Well, I tell you what, we have a few people watching. If you will drop your name only, in the comments, we'll go from there. Okay.
And I'm going to be showing off some stuff that some stuff actually that is going to go away in this giveaway. So whoever gets this is, I'm happy for you. So I got a couple different. This was a copy that in a last big tournament that we had, Greg Blanchard actually won on this color. And so I made a couple different copies of the color that he was using. There's a jerkbait, crankbait, flicker shad. And this is a new thing for us as painting soft plastics. So I can actually custom paint soft plastics for you and then dip it in Clearasil so that the paint doesn't come off. So I don't know why it's not in the thing, but
I've actually I think I actually have a picture of that that you sent me earlier today. I believe I do. I know you sent it to me. I think I uploaded it.
So that, and then another guy that's just been real supportive in the kayak community, and he makes a really awesome scent. It's called Tube Lube. It's the only scent that I use, and I'm going to give whoever gets this one of these cans too. And this isn't a crawfish one, and it's absolutely amazing.
Awesome.
So I think, a total of 5 baits, or actually 6. I got a little something for you here too. So 6 baits someone's getting.
Cool. So we've got Greg Hare, Vern, and I honestly don't know how to pronounce this name. I apologize. I see your name on Facebook. Do you know how to pronounce that?
Pia, yeah.
Pia.
Okay. I think that's how it's. If I said it wrong, I apologize.
Yeah, so. I wouldn't even attempt to. I don't want to butcher up your name, but I am glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you for listening in, and I hope that this went live. I tried to share this, guys. So, it looks like this did get shared. So I think a lot of people are watching, and continue, guys. If you have more questions about this series, and any questions to ask John, please ask, because it'll be good. Some guys that are new getting into it, it sounds like this is going to be a great thing for them. So
we're hoping so. So I've got let's see here. We like them long. I've seen that before. Greg Hare. Got something to jot these down on?
Not by me right now, if you can. Okay. I mean, because also we could, however you want to do it. I was also thinking at the end of it, we can take all these names, and then right after this video is done, we can do a random generator with their names, and whoever gets it, if that's what you want to do.
It's up to you. You're giving the baits away.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine either way. So however it goes, it's your podcast. I mean, this will go to someone. So I don't,
Yeah.
doesn't matter to me.
So we'll answer a couple more questions. So I'm curious how the transition was from you guys from bass boat to kayak. Well,
Mm.
Vern, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm 6'7". I weigh 320 pounds. So it was pretty shaky for me, brother. But I fish out of an 11.5 Outlaw. I hope to get a bigger boat one day. I'm actually looking at a new canoe unlimited. I would love to have a Hobie, but I'm just too tight to spend that kind of money on a kayak. And I'm looking for a good used one. But
Yeah.
it's been great. I love it. I can get places that I never dreamed of. Only would stand on the bow of the boat and go, man, I wish I could get my boat back there, but I can now. So I've loved it every minute of it. So how was it for you, Ryan?
Yeah. Vern he's a guy and actually with us with RV Bass, great guy. And he was talking to me today a little bit about kayak and I was explaining to him. Yeah. I mean, it was the same thing. It was, I had buddies that had boats and was doing, the boat tournament thing a little bit. And I thought, well, how am I going to get out here and practice? And so I went and bought, probably a $400 or $500 kayak. And that's all how it all started. And now I believe I've had like four or five.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing that you really can get out on the water. I mean, don't think, guys, that you have to go out and you're seeing these $30,000 kayaks now. You don't need that to do these tournaments. If you can get out there with a paddle and have, some fishing poles and stuff, it, every a guy can have everything in the world as far as electronics and you name it. But if you can't catch fish, it don't really matter. So just get out there and try it because it's so much fun.
Right. It, man, I'm telling you, it's the best thing ever. I can't tell people that enough. I mean, we have bass derbies all the time right here, right down the road from me, and I go over there and I see those guys, and I'm like, man, they're like, are you getting out on this lake? You know, this lake's nearly 40,000 acres. Are you getting out on this lake in a kayak? I'm like, you bet, brother, and I'm catching fish.
Yeah,
You
that's what
know,
it's all. If it gets you out there, it's not about style. Just get out so you can do some fishing, and that's important. So
yeah. Well, somebody says my transition from boat to kayak happens at Folsom Lake tournament coming up. Super excited. We'll let you know how it goes. Well,
yeah.
I hope that's our tournament coming up that you make your transition. Then I will have reached my goal.
Mm.
Brought one into kayak fishing. So, uh, well, let's jot these names down and you guys be sure and get your name in there now. Let's see. Let me go back up here. I know we've got Greg, we've got Vern, we've
So
got
so
Pia,
Max.
Max Lee, Greg Hare, we like them long,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
Raymond Gamas, uh, I know my nephew's on here. His name is Ellis. Um, uh, Vern, yes, I have fished OHIV. I'm telling you, it is the Disneyland. As far as Texas goes, it is the Disneyland of bass fishing. There's nothing like throwing a glide bait and having 5 or 6, 7, 8 pounders follow it back to the boat. That will make you. It'll make you so nervous that you don't know what to do next. It is. I'm telling you, it's. I live at the Goat. Okay, the greatest lake of all time, right here in Texas, and I can be there in 10 minutes. I will drive 5 hours to Ivy to fish for 5 hours, and then drive 5 hours back. That's how good it is.
Yeah, I think that's for a lot of people here, like Clear Lake. It's kind of the same deal.
Yeah. So we're getting another question here. What can and cannot be painted for the bait man?
Um, you never know what we can paint for you. So I mean, we're not afraid if you send us a pair of tennis shoes, you send us your bait caster. If we can paint it, we will. So if you could contact me, we're on Instagram, Facebook. You can find Ryan Murphy on Facebook too, and contact. And hey, if I can do it, I'm willing to try.
Yeah. Hey, there you go, man. It's
Yeah,
not scared to do what needs to be done, right?
never.
Well, we still got a few comments coming in. I live on Clear Lake, but I would love to go to Ivy. Well, you know what? I'd love to go to Clear Lake. So maybe we need to do a like
Swap.
a foreign exchange type deal.
Yeah.
So, well, Ryan, do you have any other questions about the tournament series or anything that I haven't answered? Or
I'm probably there's probably some things I'm missing here, and that's why I'm asking if anyone else is listening to ask questions they may have. I'm pretty good in what I know, and I'm just looking forward to fishing. So, uh, yeah, if there's any other questions, great. If not, mine are kind of done. So,
okay. Well, Greg, see, is it Greg Hare? Is that who? Greg. I think it was Greg Hare, wasn't it? Yes, Greg Hare. Yes, Greg, I got your comment, and I will message you when we get done here, and I will be glad to answer any questions that you have about anything. Um, but I guess what we'll do is if you want to do that random generator, and
uh-huh.
then we'll just make an announcement. Where do you want to make the announcement at?
Yeah, all we'll do it when we get off of here. We'll talk it right after that, and I'll jot down all the names, and I can do that online, and we'll just do a random generator, and then I'll post it on my page, and then you can post it on yours, and
Okay.
and we'll just whoever gets it, just get in contact with me. The shipping's free, all that, and we'll get this out to you.
All right. So no off limits. Okay. So, yep, that's a good question. We didn't cover this, Ryan. So I talked with my state reps last, I don't know, last week. We tried doing the off limits thing, but really and truly, there's no way to police that. Now, there will be an off limits for the national in October, but there is no off limits period for any of the state trails. Of course, you can't do off limits for the regionals because they last all month long. So there is no off limits period for any state trails. No off limits for California any this season. That is a very good question. We haven't talked about that. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah,
But yeah, there will be no off limits for any state trails as far as Greenfish Nation goes. The last thing I want to do is prevent somebody from fishing, because that's not why I got in this business. So, um, I
and
guess, go ahead.
I was also going to bring up because guys are going to have questions on that. Still, it being new and bringing up, there is also it's a public launch, so guys, please, just be generous, and try to launch from ramps and stuff. Let's just try to keep this good from the beginning. I don't think there's currently going to be any like award ceremonies or anything currently yet. So it
Right.
will all just be done through payment and all that. And if we could get together afterwards and go have pizza or do something, in the beginning, great. If not,
Sure.
we're just kind of in the beginning stages, and so we'll just obviously see how that progresses.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not doing any trail or regional trophies except for there'll be a championship at each trail. At the end, there will be a champion trophy and there'll be an angler of the year trophy. And then, of course, we'll do national big awards at the national and all that. And getting back to that 100-inch club, when you put up 100 inches one time in the year, you're qualified for the 100-inch club, and you will receive a silver dollar sized 100-inch token, like a uh, challenge coin. It slipped my mind for a minute. It'll be
It's
a
all
nice
good.
challenge coin. It'll be mounted on a nice plaque for you, stating your name, and then you submitted 100 inches and all that stuff. So I think it'll be pretty good. Only thing I ask is you guys is just to be patient with me. And as far as payment goes, Ryan, I don't think we talked about payment, but we have like a 48-hour kind of a grace period. That way, if
There's
somebody calls and says, "Hey, I seen that guy down there down the street where he's not supposed to be fishing," then we can investigate that. I have a committee that does that sort of stuff. It's non-biased. No, they're made up of anglers. There's
right.
no, I guess you'd call it leadership. There's none in there. It's guys that are on the ground level. It's a committee of if someone has an issue with something that I do or one of the state reps do or anything like that, you can I'll get you to the correct group of people, and they will talk with you about it, and they will come up with a solution, and they will tell me what the solution is, and we'll make that happen.
Yeah, I mean, we're a tight knit group of people, and I mean, let's just, this is fun. There's no reason for us to get in problems, so just be accountable to your
Sure,
actions because
absolutely.
rules are rules, and if you break them, then you're out.
Yeah,
Basically.
yeah, I understand that, but I just like I said, the only thing I can ask you guys is to be patient with me. I know that, like I said earlier, I know there's been a lot of bad things happen in the fishing community as far as payouts and all that stuff go. I'm not here to take your money. I'm here to provide you an avenue to have a good time. Uh, Everything I do is clearly stated on our rules, on my website, on all of the Facebook groups. And I know you can put all that stuff in writing all you want, and people still do what they want to anyway. But I will tell you this: I know that you don't have to trust me to begin with. I know that's something that I have to earn, and I'm willing to do that. I'm not doing this to be here today and gone tomorrow. I want to do this as long as the good Lord allows me to do this, and I'm going to. And the moment
Amen.
He says, "Hey, we can't do that anymore," then we're going to do something else. Because when He opens one door, He closes another one. When He closes one, He opens another one. So I'm here as long as He allows me to be here. And like I said, I'm only here to make friends and try to do good things. And if I feel like I can't do that, then I'll just go on and load up my kayak and go do some fishing myself for fun. So
Yep.
um, but anyway, I'll get off here and I'll let you guys go. And Ryan will take care of that randomizer, and
Yep.
we'll get all that posted here in a little bit. Ryan, I really enjoyed talking with you. I've been looking for this all
Yeah.
week.
Me
It's been
too.
a great end to my day. I look forward to meeting you in person
Same here.
sometime, coming to California and letting you guys show me some of those great lakes that I only get to see on YouTube, and meet some of the guys at Yakabas and some of the other tournament directors and all. I really look forward to that, but I cannot thank you enough for coming on here tonight and RB Bass Outdoors. We really appreciate you guys for all that you do
Yes.
uh, for the fishing and hunting and outdoor community. Uh, I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate it. Well, Ryan, I guess I'm gonna let you go, and I'm gonna close this thing out. And just holler at me in about 10 minutes, and we'll do some talking, and I'll give Mr. Greg Hare a call or a message, and we'll go from there. Okay.
Thank you so much for having me on, and thank you for everyone for listening.
All right. We appreciate you, Ryan. I look forward to spending some time with you, my brother.
You same.
All right. All right, guys. That is Ryan Murphy of Murphy's Baits. We have some up and coming things that I want to speak with you guys about. The 22nd, we're going to have Jay of Bearded Dad's Fishing. He is a great YouTuber, a great family man, and a great fisherman. So you guys be sure and tune into that on February the 22nd. Also have another young man out of Tennessee, Ethan Jett of Jett's Fishing Adventures. He's pretty new, I think, to the kayak tournament scene, but he has proven to be a hammer. He is also an avid YouTuber as well as myself. So I want to talk with Ethan and just get his thoughts on things. Guys, I really, really appreciate you joining us tonight. If you have any questions about anything as far as Greenfish Nation Kayaks Tournament Series and Trails go, my number, I put it up there for you guys. I'll run it across there right quick again. 903-268-2198. I would love to speak with you. Even if you just want to call and say, hey, how's it going? I'm down to talk. I'm a people person. That's why I love this podcast. But anyway, guys, I am going to get off here and I am going to talk to you guys later. Until next time, tight lines, guys.
Thank you again for joining our podcast. We appreciate your continued support. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube at Bass Fishing with Greenfish Nation. Check us out on Facebook at the group Greenfish Nation Kayak Tournament Series, Trails and Challenges. We can also be found on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok under the handle Greenfish Nation. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm John, and I want to wish you tight lines, guys.